The reason for the video today is I just want to show you how to make it very simple winter stew. I know it's spring, but use up all your vegetables. And I'm going to show you this because we've got all these from Lidl's, so it's all doable. You've got mushrooms, carrots, parsnips, onions, shallots, a potato, half a swede, I've used the other bit, some nice Sicilian red wine. This is what I wanted to show you, the beef they do there. It's not expensive, but it's very nice. Also, adding on to that, all I need is one knife, one chopping board, and one potato and a vegetable peeler. My compost bin for the peelings. Over here, then, I need a slow cooker, a frying pan, glaze, butter, oil, salt, pepper, flour, a bag, and I'm going out in the garden now to cut some fresh herbs. Thank you. These are glazes or stock pots, whatever you want to call them. Absolutely brilliant. You've got beef, chicken, vegetables, whatever you want. Just get one of them in the pan. It's a nightmare to get in. Alright, goes in eventually. And then in there, I've boiled some water over here. Because what I'm doing is just getting the stock going in there. And I've got the slow cooker on. See the light on. The reason I cook in the slow cooker, very simple. I can cook in the morning when I'm ready and fresh. We've got the afternoon at leisure, because I really don't get into cooking at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. This, you can just leave it on. All right, and the reason I showed you the beef, although traditionally it's beef, you could use chicken, lamb, pork, anything. Or if you're a vegetarian, just use cauliflower. Thank you. Okay, this I want to show you, because I really enjoy doing this. Any bag, this is a sandwich bag, as long as it's clean. Very simple. I always do this. Some nice flour in there. Yeah, I'm going to put a lot. Just a bit of flour in there, not too much. Alright, see the flour in there? I'll put a bit more in actually. Then some salt. And some pepper. Plenty of pepper, don't need too much salt. And then the reason for that is, we get the meat, and we put the meat bit at a time in the bag, and that coats the meat. Thank you. So, just going to get the frying pan going. A little bit of sunflower oil. You don't need olive oil for this, not too much, because with that, some nice Welsh butter. Melt that in the pan. While that's frying off there, get the rest of the meat in. Get all this lovely meat in. We keep the juices in the bottom of the container. We don't want those juices. Very simply, that's our second batch. If we did it all in one go, it would cool down. The pan wouldn't be hot enough. It would reduce the temperature. Okay. And that's that first lot. Look at them. Lovely. Right, that's the first lot done. Just sealed in the oil and butter. And that's going in the stock. And the pan's still hot. Can you see that? And then we just put our second lot in. And if you're getting this, some of the bag's in the way. Right, I'm going to wash my hands, stay on the pan. I wash my hands because it's such a raw meat. Always wash your hands. It's not to do with corona, it's to do with raw meat. Okay. Starting to smoke now. That's the second batch. Can you see that? I'll take it off the flame. That sizzles away nicely. Now, bear with me on this, because we tip that into the stock. Right, now the pan is red hot. The red wine, we deglaze it. all that goodness is washed off the bottom of the pan with the wine, the red wine, and that goes in there. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, very, very important. Any wine, if it's not good enough to drink, it's not good enough to cook with. So sacrifice yourself and always taste the wine first. This is Sicilian. It's not an expensive one. It's from Lidl's. It's very acceptable. And you put that and your drizzle or glug in the casserole. Thank you. And the lid goes on. One of the things I get criticised about is things I cook has got too much pack, too much flavour, too much oomph. People don't, scares a lot of people. So you might not want to put wine in, you might not want to bother with the flour and the butter and the fresh herbs from the garden, which I'm going to show you just now. Alternatively, here's the alternative. If you follow me, just mixed herbs, dried, OXO cube, and a casserole mix. Okay, so you haven't got to spend a lot of money, and of course, because this is all dried, it doesn't go off. So that's your alternative. Personally, I put it all in because I've got it and I enjoy it. Thank you. A lot of sage. I just use it basically because I've got it. It's fresh thyme over here. Bay. Yeah, I'm supposed to put one in. But I've got a whole tree, so I put two. Bay leaves. There you go. Leaves we've just picked. They go straight in. The sage, I'm going to treat very much like basil. I'm just going to tear. Not putting the stalks in, I don't think it actually matters, but I'll leave those stalks out. That goes in. The time you've got to work at is just a little bit of pulling it off. Pull this forward so you can see what I'm doing. You just shred it in like that. It's not easy because it's so fresh, but you can see it coming out. Can you see it coming out? You don't want the stems because it gets woody. You get them with sticks in your teeth. You don't want that. Okay. I'm going to carry on here because this is going to take a while. Can you see all the herbs I've put in there? You see in there? Yeah. And I've got the OXO cube. And I'm going over the top here. But again, there's different styles of OXO cubes. You can put different flavours in. I've got it out to show you, so I'm going to throw it in anyway. Being it's done the flour and the wine and the herbs, don't actually need this. But I'm going to throw it in anyway. You ready? That is the base. When I started, I was told you must only ever use wooden spoons, and I stuck with that for years. But you've got to move with the times, and I've got to be honest, the biggest thing is these. I know they look horrible, but with the plastic rubber on the end, but they're brilliant for scraping around the edges. So we've got our base in, you can see it in there, and I'm just going to give that a little stir. Can you see the stock in there and the meat and the herbs? But these spatulas, these rubber spatulas, I've got to be honest, absolutely brilliant. And I'll come back to this in a minute. Okay, whatever you're cooking, you have to have onions. It's a binding agent, and you just got to put onions in. Get nice organic ones or any kind of onions. I just use one knife, that's just the way I work. But people are frightened of onions. But there's absolutely no need to be frightened of onions. Just keep a claw. Don't keep your fingers, you chop them. Do a claw. So if you miss, you hit your fingernails. I just peel. A lot of people don't because they don't like it in their eyes, but I don't mind it, don't worry me. One simple knife in half. Now the proper way of doing an onion, you then score it, going round, following the lines, and then you go in half. Hope you're following this, and then fingernails back, thumb in, and then I just simply push away, and that's not done properly, it's not done perfectly, but at the end of the day, you've got a nice chopped onion there, and that is so important. No matter Asian, Chinese, British, French, you must put fingernails back, thumb holding back there. I'll turn it around so you can see what they're doing. Go around that way. It doesn't go in your eyes so much. You don't cry so much. Now I take this over, follow me, lid off. Because I've got a big knife, I don't do small, that just goes straight in. And the reason I'm showing you this is very simply, if you follow me back again, I'm going to do exactly the same but with all the other vegetables. Sweet potatoes, shallots, carrots, parsnips, mushrooms are all going to be peeled and sliced. I'm not going to peel these, they're just going to be sliced. And never wash your mushrooms. Keep the flavour in them. Alright, and all those are going to go in the pot. There we are. Swede. I've already started half of it. People are frightened of Swedes because they're hard to work with. But just take the skin off. Be quite ruthless with it because, to be honest, they're not expensive. But just keep on. Remember, fingernails back. Fingers back. If I slip, cut that bad bit out. This is why they're cheap. You get a lot for your money. Not all of it is usable. Alright, cut that bit off because that was already open. I'm going to discard all that in the compost, which we make our own compost with. And then, there you are, through. Nice chunks, nice big chunks. Like, is it the same way as if you're making vegetable soup? A lot of people don't put Swede in. I do, because you buy a whole Swede and I only use half and the other half just goes to waste. So I end up using it because it's lying around. And why not? Okay, you got the idea. Mind your fingers, and that then going in the pot with everything else. Then the thing is, you just keep on with this process until the pot is full. Heat's still on. That's going to cook, incidentally, on low about 8 hours. Could leave it for 11 hours. If I say we were out and the pubs were still open, you could still go to the pub, but we can't. But the longer you cook it, the tender it gets. But you can cook out the flavour. So you have to make a decision. Do you want your vegetables a little bit al dente and really taste the meat? Or do you want something so tender it just melts in your mouth, but it's not so strong in flavour? You have to make that call. Giving it a stir, but we need more liquid. We could use stock. If you've got stock, you could do boiling water with an OXO cube or a glaze, we've said. All right, I've chosen to use red wine, but you could do cider. You could cook in cider, mainly with pork. Pork and tomato is lovely, or chicken and tomato. White wine you could use as a liquid, especially with chicken, or beef. You could even cook in beer. All right, so but as long as you've got some liquid in there. I'm going to use the red wine because I'm enjoying it, and it's open, and this excuse to have a nice glass at the end. More red wine in there, and the lid's on. We'll taste it later, keep on stirring it, keep it on low, and I'll come back. Because it's full up now, give it a nice stir, plenty of veg in there. You could just do vegetarian. All right, I'm putting the meat at the bottom so it doesn't dry out. Now, finally, a little bit more fluid. This is boiling water from the kettle. It's gone off the boil. Not too much water. Put the lid on. So thanks for bearing with me. I'm showing you this because this is 6 hours later, because it's in the slow cooker. If we come along, have a little look in here. There you are. Have a look at that. Beautiful. Thank you for your patience. Bit more flour. Hands in your flour, or flour in your hands. Okay, I've made the dough. Okay, and then very simply go for 4. Little snowballs. I'll do the same with the other 3, but so you get the idea. If you follow me, I'll do the same with the other 3, and they just sit nicely. There you go, on the top. So I'm repeating the same process with the other three, and what we're going to end up then is nice dumplings, and they'll take about 30 minutes. So we're going to be another half an hour with these, 2 each. Okay, and they just sit on the top and they will rise with the heat of the casserole. Oh, and incidentally, what's the difference between a stew and a casserole? Anybody know that one? Yes, you do. Do you know the difference? Casserole is cooked in the oven. A stew is cooked on top of the hob. Hence, an Irish stew would be on top of a peat fire, and French casseroles are always in the oven.